Say, Gary, do you ever wonder what Patrick's mornings are like?
That would be awesome if those were mornings, right? Who lives in a pineapple under the sea? Well, we all know it's SpongeBob SquarePants. What about the guy that lives next door, though, his neighbor, his bestie, Patrick Star? What's his story? Where did he come from? I can tell you, isn't it a coincidence that he lives under a rock because, well, he actually comes from the state which is known for cool rocks, right here, the Gem State. And this year marks 50 years since he went to Minico High School. And Hunter Funk caught up with him about how he went from a regular Idaho kid to being the voice of a character who shaped childhoods.
I'm about to introduce you to the greatest academic thrill ride of your lifetime.
No line.
Bill Fagerbakk's academic thrill ride started in Rupert.
I think of it as kind of like Happy Days, and I was Richie Cunningham, and I had my grandfather's '53 Chevy, and it was a great place to grow up.
And it was this high school.
Behold, Patrick, the hallway of learning.
Minico High.
Here's the fountain of learning.
Where Bill started to make a name for himself.
With football, I had some scholarship offers, and that was an extraordinary experience.
While you might think it was for acting, it wasn't. Bill became an impressive athlete in basketball, track and field, but most notably, football.
With football, I had some scholarship offers, and that was an extraordinary experience.
The offer he took came from the University of Idaho, and freshman year was off to a good start, playing as a defensive lineman for the Vandals and a member of the Delta Tau Delta fraternity. But in comes the plot twist.
Spring ball my sophomore year, which would have been '77. I had my knee blown out, and it was a pretty intense surgery and recovery process, and I just realized I wanted to move on.
With no more scholarships and unsure of what to do next, this is the moment that altered his path. His buddy, Chris Beater, who also quit the football team, suggested they audition for a show.
I didn't even know they had a theater department. I said, sure, why not? Let's go.
Both were cast.
About the second week of rehearsals, I went, I think I want to try and do this.
After 12 appearances at the Heart-Tongue stage as a student, he graduated with a degree in theater in 1984, then went to a graduate acting program at SMU in Dallas. It took working at regional theaters in Baltimore, Philly, Portland, Maine, Indianapolis, and New York, landing gigs off and on Broadway, and doing some commercials and small parts in movies to finally land his first big break 5 years later.
I booked a pilot.
Hey, Coach, someone just let the air out of your tires.
What? Coach was such an incredible experience, and I got to work with, people like Craig T. Nelson and Jerry Van Dyke and Shelley Fabre.
Dauber? I'm sorry, I didn't know you were busy.
The sitcom Coach ran for 9 seasons.
And I guess that was the first of the many morons I've played.
Right after Coach finished, Bill landed a voiceover gig, recorded the pilot, and
forgot about it. I took my $600 and went home. And a year later, I got the pilot in the mail on a VHS tape. So that would have been '98.
Is this the Krusty Krab?
No, this is Patrick.
And so I went, oh, I remember this. And I plugged it in, and it was the episode Help Wanted.
Oh, this is Patrick.
I was filled with childlike joy. It took me right back to being a kid and loving cartoons. And
it made others feel the same way.
Then take it.
It's not my wallet.
The show SpongeBob SquarePants was born.
Weird lines that, for whatever reason, resonate with people.
2024 marked 25 years since it launched in July 1999.
The inner machinations of my mind are an enigma.
New episodes and spin-off series like The Patrick Star Show continue to roll out on Nickelodeon. That, along with video games. And one of the most difficult things was the Nickelodeon Super Bowl game.
Yeah, I forget that.
Nothing prepares you for improvising a character you've done for 25 years live to millions of people for 4 hours.
It does not sound easy at all.
Oh, the overtime. It got to overtime. Oh, it's overtime.
It's a career he never expected, but has loved every minute of, owing it to his roots in Idaho.
Think about it.
and if it doesn't work out the way you thought it would, maybe it will actually work out in a way that's better than what you hoped, which is certainly what happened with me.
And Bill has lived in LA ever since moving there to film Coach. And when I asked if he'd ever come back to Idaho, he says he visits often, but now he has a grandbaby to spend his time with, though he will be here for his 50th reunion.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Say his last name for me one more time.
Oh, I need to read it again.
Fagerback.
Yeah.
Right? It's hard
I need to read his last name again. It's hard.
It's a hard name.
Yeah.
But he's coming back to Minico's family
But he's coming back,
class reunion.
Bill.
That's awesome. All right. I
Yeah.
still love that voice. Thank you
Me
very much,
too.
Hunter.